All right, let's begin. Round two. Welcome everyone to our Asia Charts and Chill. We're going to start with our high time frame analysis and we'll step down from our 12 monthly chart to begin. So as we discussed in previous weeks, we've been watching that 12 monthly down close candle here from 2022. This becomes our bullish order block. And once price breaks above here, we're looking for price to come back and retest it. And we want to see 50% of this order block hold and price not close below for continuation. So we can see it's wicked down nicely so far and we're expanding up for bullish continuation. So we step down to the 6 monthly. We'll zoom in a little bit here. We were watching our inverted SIBI here, which is our fair value gap here that caused this manipulation swing, and for that to flip as support. So we can see price comes back up, unable to close below here after the flip. And then in January, we had that retest come back here, or within that 6 monthly. Down to the monthly. This is where we see that retest here. So that was April. We come back up. We have these 3 down close candles that we want to act as support, and we look at that 50% of this zone as well, and then we can also draw an OTE from this low to the high, and we had a 0.79 soup here into the 50% of this order block plus that 6 monthly ICB here. So lots of confluence down on this area here for the turnaround. And then we had a nice swing failure pattern candle here build. So I've covered this a few times. So what we look at is for the candle to come down, it takes the liquidity here. So it takes the liquidity from here, bounces back up and then closes back within this previous monthly candle. And then we look at the high of that candle to be the next draw on liquidity. Close back in and push up. And on a lot of occasions, you'll see the next wick come down and you want to see 50% of this candle respected, which we didn't even get a wick come into that this time.
Did we even wick into the body?
Yeah. Very bullish with that push. I need to create just a CE template now. So I don't have to keep doing that each week.
Yeah.
Another example on this one here, guys. So we can see price comes down, sweeps these lows, closes back within this candle, and then price draws to the high of that previous candle. We come back in, we test the CE, 50% of this week, and continue up. So in future, sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead. You can feel free to answer.
In future, can we see that test? I would have been expecting that test to be here in May to come in. But I mean, we do have that volume imbalance now.
Yeah, when price comes back to this area, you can look for that area to be a possible target, and then to see if it holds or fails when if price ever comes back to that area.
Just so
So first
bullish
we have that.
now. It'd be,
Yeah, that's a deep retracement. So we have that volume imbalance. That would be your first target when if price comes back into this area. We also have a BPR here that hasn't been retested, but once we once price comes back into that area, if that volume imbalance fails, the next thing you would be looking at is the CE of that wick. And then if that CE continues to hold, price would be bullish, and if it fails, then you can look for the low.
onto our weekly. So we've got very bullish order flow on the weekly. We had our change in state of delivery here. Close above. And then this becomes our weekly manipulation zone to watch. So if we do get any other deep retracements, an area to watch for support. And then we have, so this weekly swing here, also look for the support for continuation. Really, it's this candle here back from December, which took the low here, and that became the high of this swing. Can't remember if we did a deviation from this leg. I think we did that more on a daily setup. SD 2.5 on the weekly. There we go.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think we did it on the daily for the downside. That's clean. My goodness.
And we can see that we're pushing off this order block now with our bullish continuation. We're going to our daily. So daily we'd been looking at, we have a power of 3. So we have our accumulation range up here. Down into our manipulation. Have our daily change in state of delivery was here. This was the high that created the low. And we can do our standard deviation pull now from the low to that high. And these are our higher time frame levels that we're watching now. SD 1.5 being our next level on the daily. So very interesting levels to watch as the year progresses and to see how much expansion we get up.
Massive movement.
No real low raids yet either, just bullish continuation on the daily. And once again, so grabbing that high swing, went extremely bullish. Look for continuation off of the main high, which we flip here, and is now acting as support.
Yep, we consolidated on top of it for about a week, which was last week when, and at this point I had mentioned that I wanted previous week swept originally, and if you guys look at price action this week, YM actually did sweep the previous week's low that I wanted last week, and then ES swept previous week's low, so last week. So we got the SMT at the lows with NQ creating the higher low. So really clean expansion this week, just straight up.
So this was YM sweeping here.
And then ES sweeping its previous.
Yes. So weekly SMT at the low.
So beautiful. with that high holding. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard this from ICT. I would hope for those of you who listen to like clips, whenever you close above a swing high or below a swing low, you're basically treating that swing high or swing low like a breaker, which is, in this case, it would be just a massive like daily or weekly breaker. But yeah, once we close that opposing high, just should hold up like that, the way we're seeing.
Very clean.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have like a little party when we get to SD 1.5?
Then when we get to 1.5, more consolidation. Some form of SBS forming there for higher.
Yeah. Get that raid, continuation up. It's going to be fun to map out. All right, so we'll clear those. We'll jump down into our 1 hour chart.
Does anyone have any questions while Adrian sets up his chart? No questions. You guys are pretty quiet this week. Are you guys making money or getting wrecked?
It's been some nice clean manipulations. Hopefully everyone's making money from those swings and standard deviation levels. Cooked. That's going to change, Sazu, while you're in here. Swag a little of both. Swag's just getting 1% better every day. Slowly improving and building. It's going to be... His story is good to watch.
That's really the best answer, Swag, because it is really just both all the time. Jay, slightly red. What do you think you can do to improve, or where do you think, or are you happy being red? In the sense that you know that all the mistakes you made, or all of the non-profitable days, just that was the best you could do. Yeah, great, Swag. I'm glad. Yeah, that is really the first step. If you don't know how to bring your account out of red, there's like really no point to be trying to go green. You should really be trying to go break even. And then imagine, as long as you can break even, you can trade forever, right? Like, obviously, you're not going to be making millions and paying your bills and all that, but you can trade forever as long as you break even first. Which, that experience of just staying in the game is how you slowly sharpen the axe.
It is all a game of survival, guys.
Gosh, man, that Monday PA alone was just, beautiful.
It's very nice. Call that weekly low manipulation. So I put in this time into our 1 hour chart our sell side and buy side curves. We can see here, which I thought would be a good week to discuss the market maker models, as well as we've seen this. We've now had 3 of them in a row for our bullish continuation, which is very nice. So for those that are new here, we use the 1 hour chart, and this is recommended for everyone to do, using our 1 hour chart paired with the weekly, and we're looking for the 1 hour manipulation, ideally for a bullish expansion week on a Monday. We get a Monday low of the week. We then map out that manipulation. So we want to look at the high that made the low, and then we're drawing a rectangle around that whole swing, and we're doing our standard deviation pull from that swing as well. Then for the week, we're looking at those levels, so being 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 and 4.5. Which we hit on Tuesday, Jess. Very bullish. So at each of these levels, we're then looking for our reaccumulation at SD 1.5 and SD 2.5. Then you'll get your smart money reversal at 4 to 4.5. So great example of the weekly here. We can pop our PO3 on with that set to the weekly to give us an idea. So this is a manipulation swing, and this is what caused... Shall I try? I'll try using the demonstration. Can you guys see the mouse better if I do it this way?
Way better. Yeah, way better.
Can you see it now if I'm not holding Alt? Does it just show it all the time?
Yeah, it shows it all the time. When you press Alt, I think it turns into a cursor.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
It does nothing. Okay. So we can see the wick of this becomes that Monday low, which was our manipulation swing. And then we push up to SD 1.5. Normally we get a bit more of a reaccumulation in here, or an SBS that we look at, and then continue to 2.5. And then we've in this case, we've just had continuation expansion straight up to 3.5 and then 4.5 on Tuesday. Why only 2.5, 3.5, not 2 to 4? So this is from lots and lots of back testing over multiple days and weeks, months, where we see reactions at the 1.5 and 2.5 levels over and over again. I used to just use SD4 as the target, but we're getting so many that we're expanding out to that SD 4.5. So I've adjusted the SD levels now to include 4.5. While we're here, I'll just quickly bring up my example from Discord.
Yeah, when we were taught the standard deviations originally, or you know, just speaking for myself, maybe not also Adrian, but that area, the half levels between the whole number and a half level, this is where an area of SMR or accumulation in general is going to happen. So that 0.5 level of all of them is likely to be hit, even the 4.5. Like that's why you have that room from 4 to 4.5, is so that, well, he's already showing it, so that SMR can form there.
Just get a drink of water. Sorry, guys. So,
No worries, I try to.
you can see that chart, okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So we can see we have the SD 1.5 here, and then we'll go into like an SBS or a redistribution phase where we break the low, we have our bounce back, and then we're looking for a raid here. And that's what we want to try and get in as high as possible here, and then continuation. Same thing, we break the lows, 1, 2, 3. We get our sweep of 2, a raid, and we're looking for continuation again, down into 3.5 to 4.5. And then we look for that main sweep down here, or a high time frame PD array. And then we can draw our manipulation zone here, and then we do our standard deviations back the other way. And a lot of the time they'll line up quite nicely with each other.
Yeah.
So on the way back up, we're then looking for the breakouts. We get our raid, our sweeps, continue up to SD 1.5. We have our breakout 1, 2, 3. We're looking for a raid of 2 into continuation. Same thing at SD 2.5. We have our breakout. So we break above this high here. 1, 2. We get our next high is 3. And then we come back and raid this low. Or we get an SMT here where ES or YM raids this low and NASDAQ continues up, which is what we've had this week. This is what we had in Asia yesterday. I was watching that New York PM low here, and ES swept that. NQ didn't, and then it expanded straight up.
Something I also want to add here is that within these market maker buy models and sell models, the areas on the left, which is not purposely depicted, but it happens to fit properly here, is that these areas of raids on the left that become order blocks, if you draw them through to the other side, they actually then become breakers for bullish price action later. So bearish order blocks become bullish breakers, bullish order blocks become bullish order blocks become bearish breakers later.
So you can draw these all the way across, and they'll get
Yes.
flipped for support.
Yes.
All the way across, flipped for support. So there's been good examples here of that model. As we come down on a sell side curve, we then we then get our swing failure pattern here, which is what we're talking about on that monthly candle. So we can see we sweep the lows, price closes back within here, and then we can expect that high of that previous candle to be the draw. So this one here was just an inside candle. This was the main one. It's down close candle here. And this candle here is our swing failure pattern, creates the low. CE of that wick held, and then we continue up to take this high. And that becomes the low of this market maker model. And on the 5-minute chart, we can have a standard deviation from up here, from the manipulation. If we put that in as well. Oops. And then we can see where our lows were coming in. So get our turnaround here. And this was that 1 hour swing failure pattern. Have an ICB in here. We have CE of the 1 hour wick. Price failed to close below on the 1 hour, and then we continue up. And this was that previous 1 hour candle high that we're looking at for the target. And then the buy side curve just continues on from here, and we're looking at so during the model, this is our main high of the market maker model. And we can use that whole order block here for the draw on the way back up. So good to start TPing in this area. As price is moving up, we're then looking for raids, which we see down here. And if we put our 90-minute cycle on, we're only looking for those raids around Q3 to Q4 of New York. So we come in, we sweep the lows into continuation. Come back, this one was a London Q3. We sweep the low into continuation. Another one here to the end of Q4 for New York into continuation. But the main target was taken here. So little raid. trade here during our quarter three, and then that huge expansion. Thanks. Now forward test that. Yeah. So SD 1.5 and 2.5 are your main ones. And SD 4 to 4.5 for your external TPs or extended TPs. Can you guys still hear me okay?
Yeah, still good.
Yeah. So this was our next one. So we've done, so we've taken out buy side here. And then we can draw our box along the top there. So that becomes our high now for the next one. You see price comes back up, mitigates the orders here, and then continues down.
Yeah, this entry to ICT students, guys, is known as the low risk sell or low risk entry for both sides. But that retest of that initial zone there, that's the low risk sell.
This is our 5-minute order block here for the high, or manipulation zone for the high. We draw that across. And then on the 1 hour chart, we're looking for those. So as we start to move down, we then switch to looking for manipulation above TDO. This is why on each of our dailies here on the 1 hour chart, we have the TDO drawn in. And when we're going down, we're looking for manipulation each day above true day open into continuation. And then as it switches to buy side, we're looking for manipulation below true day open. Which we can see right at the end here, just down and straight up here as well. So on this first one, we can see while we're on the sell side, we manipulate above TDO, we come down, manipulate above true day open, continue down, get our reversal here. And then we're looking for the manipulations below true day open. This was into Wednesday, below true day open, expansion up, rotates back. And the one we've just had, same thing, we're manipulating above TDO, expands down. We come back up to 50% of the zone here, expands down into that Wednesday low. These are where, so where that low is coming in, you can see one of Freedom's broadening formations coming in, creating the low there. We've got that swing failure pattern here. And yeah, price closed back in that range. Rotate, and then we're looking for manipulation below true day open for the turnaround, TDO.
Yeah, and note, guys, that a characteristic of the smart money reversal where we're switching over from sell side of the curve to buy side of the curve, the characteristic that you're looking for in a smart money reversal is SMT. That's what makes it the smart money reversal. And that's where we had a 1 hour SMT that I shared on Monday, and then this SMT just on Wednesday. That was the SMT that we were discussing on the weekly charts across the assets.
So YM swept the weekly low and ES swept the weekly low, and NQ didn't here.
And then they all had a CISD follow that SMT, and that's how you have the sign that we're probably switching to buy side now.
So now we've got this 5-minute one. So this was from Wednesday and pushing up. Just hitting our 1.5. Get rid of that. So a very nice sell side into buy side curves. Clear lows, SMT. And then we're just looking for raids.
Yeah. You just keep your eye out for sell side raids.
All right,
wow.
so
Look at it. This is like a massive consolidation on the daily chart, but you're able to map out lower time frame market maker buy models throughout. That's amazing.
yeah, nice within consolidation as well. It's still taking the high, coming back in. This is price action I enjoy compared to this. So instead of straight up, we get these consolidation market maker models coming back in normally to OTE. We get our SMTs. We get internal range liquidity each time. So all of these highs are building up, and then it adds fuel for the longs later on if we can get long over here from the turn of these market maker models. You know, using those order blocks that created the low, we can get in here, and then we've got all of this liquidity along here to push up. The same thing, we work our way down, we build all of this liquidity. We want to get in off this order block, and then we push up. So all the internal range liquidity then helps back up these levels. So we can see them coming across. And it adds a lot more confluence for all our take profit points.
Yes, and definitely what I would recommend if you guys are using multiple accounts to trade is what Adrian is doing as opposed to taking partials at these levels. Just have, you know, these accounts have the same entry and then TP at these levels instead. Meanwhile, you're breaking even, you know, across all your accounts once your first account TPs. Because that is just beautiful for maximizing profits and reducing risk without, you know, de-risking and reducing your profits. Huzaifa, do you mean a new weekly low? I mean, I think TGIF is on the table, but I don't think a new weekly low is on the table.
No.
It's not. Yeah, no.
And so for TGIF, because we'd already maxed out our weekly expansion, we can look for. Sorry, I'll just go back to our 1 hour chart.
The 1 hour has just been so wicked clean, even through like difficult daily price action.
Yeah.
1 hour just, yeah. I almost want to move to the 1 hour permanently.
It just helps remove all the noise.
Yeah.
Especially if you can see clean pivot or a clean manipulation low point of the week, and just work from that alongside like those Q3 manipulation stacks where they're just stacking into the zone, which we've seen a few times this week.
Yeah, so clean.
Sorry, so back on that 1 hour chart, these are our other manipulation points. So back from the 22nd of June here, where we had this main low come into this expansion. So we've got this standard deviation level we've been watching along the way. So here we've got that SD 1.5 into re-accumulation. Price comes up to SD 2.5. Get our reaction to re-accumulation here. And then we expand up to 3.5. And then we've been reaccumulating here with these small market maker models. So as we're getting up to that extension here from 3.5 to 4.5, definitely points of interest to watch for a plausible turnaround as we move forward. And then if we start to stack them, so we have our Wednesday low here from the start of July, and this is our main deviations here too. So expansion up to SD 1.5 here, we get our reaction into, and most of this range really reaccumulation, and now we've just hit that SD 2.5 up here. So plausible reaccumulation in here too. And then they're all starting to stack at the high here. So we've got 4.5 of this main move, 3.5 from this one. And then from this, the current Wednesday low up here, within this zone, we've got our SD 2.5 here. So lots of confluence up here for a plausible reversal to retrace and then take some of these lows that are building up in the coming weeks.
Very possible.
All right, so we jump into our daily review, and then we can talk about the model and the multiple accounts for taking positions. Such a big weekly. Huge. Sorry, so for TGIF, we then want to map it out as the day is playing out from the low. And we'll just reverse this. So for TGIF, we're looking at the 0.3 and 0.2 retracement of the weekly candle. So for bullish expansion, we want to see where the high comes in. So ideally, more than often than not, it's a Friday half of the week. So if we keep coming up here, we then move our fib tool up to wherever the high lands, and whether it's a Q3 into New York AM, we can pop that there, and then we can look at the SD2 and SD3 levels, wherever that high lands. So imagine all of this will get taken out here, and we come up. Something like this, and we break. And this would be, around 9:30 or so. Then we would expand that to the high, and then we can do a standard deviation from here. And we want to see what lines up there as well for extra confluence. So if this becomes our high in New York, we have our SD 1.5 lining up with 0.2 of the weekly. So definitely a good take profit point there. And SD 2.5 with 0.3 for the retracement. Does that all make sense, guys?
Sweet. And things to add for confluence are like session lows around those areas, or PD arrays around those areas.
Yeah, you want to stack them up. All right, so getting into the daily review. So we've had this nice manipulation sweep on the previous day. Had our PDL. New York PM high was our PDH. And then for bullish expansion weeks, we're looking for price. Ideally, I like it to come lower into 0.5 or 0.62. But when it's very bullish, as Jess has mentioned lots of times, price just comes back to that 0.25.
Yeah, last night's example was so good for that, which you called, way in advance. So that was just amazing. PM session low being right there. Previous day midnight, I think, was also there. It was really clean.
So we've had this pull down at the start of Asia. We're watching NYPM low here. And this is where I wanted to get long. Have a Q4 manipulation for Asia. So just like we're looking at the 1 hour and the daily examples, this was our manipulation low swing. And this is where we had SMT. So ES swept the PM low and YM as well. And then we broke out. So once we get, so that's classed as our liquidity sweep. We get our breakout. We're looking for displacement as well, which we had here. And then we want to get long off of this manipulation zone. So ideally we do it over the 4 accounts on the retest of the zone, or we look for PD arrays within the zone. So we have the BISI here, and we're looking at our take profit targets. So the first account we want to get out at SD 1.5. Drag this right across. We do another account, we're looking at a take profit SD 2.5. Next is 3.5. And last account I normally just aim for SD4.
Is that your alert?
Yeah, I've got alerts going off. 1 hour HTF low break. So do 4 to be safe, otherwise 4.5. And we can see here, like, nice reaction straight away off SD 1.5, reaccumulates and then just pushed off, which is a little bit abnormal for Asia.
Yeah.
They like to just do expansions when most people aren't ready.
He actually took this trade during Asia. I'm assuming, Adrian, you got stopped out.
I got stopped out here,
early.
and then it ran.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So when I saw him, we actually posted our charts around a similar time. When he posted his analysis, I shared mine right after. That basically I had the same idea. And if it were to go lower, I had an area mapped out for where I could see it going lower as well. But he broke even here at 1 standard deviation. Generally, he breaks even at 1.5 standard deviations. So when I saw that, I was like, oof, that's we'll see what happens.
Rookie mistake.
And I actually had, yeah. I actually left along with you. I went out last night. I came back to my charts, and then I was like, I can feel the pain now.
Yeah. The reason for the early stop loss movement here too was based on that low still not being swept, and then we're coming into midnight. So I'm thinking, okay, we're gonna get we're gonna get another manipulation down and take out Asia low, which happens so often. So we've got Asia low, New York PM low lining up. This thing's gonna manipulate lower and take me out.
Yeah,
and then we're gonna run.
Yeah, that's a break even. Yeah. Huzaifa, to add to this as well, he took the trade during Asia. The idea is for this trade to expand during the 4-hour candle, which is why he has the lines on the 2200 hour and the 2 a.m. hour, is because that's the 10 to 2 a.m. candle. So the idea is that this expansion is met during this 4 a.m. candle, which is the entire model basically. 5-minute Q3 expansions or 5-minute manipulations into a 4-hour expansion.
So if you think about this being the 4-hour candle as an open, low, high close, and we're trying to get in on the 4-hour manipulation, which is the wick, this is the wick formation in here. And a lot of the times that's happening during a Q3 or a Q4. So if we put our PO3 candle on now and we set that to our 4-hour, and I'm going to go back one more. This was our 4-hour candle, and I want to be getting into my position in the wick, and I want to ride all of this expansion up to SD4 4.5. Does that help everyone understand what we're trying to catch and why we're looking for those manipulation zones?
Huzaifa said, I see you don't mark out fair value gaps. I don't know if that's for you or for me, since it's your chart.
Totally.
I technically, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, totally mark out fair value gaps as long as they're within the areas where I'm watching.
Yeah, same. So I really I think I geared towards more down close candles and up close candles now, but I do watch higher time frame fair value gaps and see how lower time frame price plays out within those gaps. So for example, with this model specifically, I actually always mark out the 1 hour gaps.
And favorites are BPRs within the manipulation, like this.
Yes. This is the quintessential sign that, like, this is a picture perfect manipulation right there. You have a very solid order block. You have a BPR in the middle of that. For those that backtest with me, they know that my model is essentially one block in 2 gaps. Yash, you're trading the same market as we are. It's a matter of, are you trading futures or are you trading CFDs? So,
Took a long, and do you look for untapped FVGs, like in the trade, any untapped CB for TP along with standard deviation? Yeah, like if we've got, like Jess said, if we've got H1 fair value gaps along the way here, then I'm pretty happy if they're lining up with those standard deviations. Yeah. I try not to have, I already mark out a lot of stuff on my charts for people to read,
Yeah.
Like to have things as clean as possible. And I don't want heaps of fair value gaps on my chart. I don't want to have that over analysis or say, oh look, it's coming up to a 5-minute CB. I want to exit my position.
Yeah. You really
stay focused on the target.
You don't need a higher time frame bias, but it does help significantly for those of you that are kind of losing your framework, right? Because JD proves every day you don't need a bias. But if you're not able to trade at that capacity, or you're not able to think that high frequency all the time, you really just want to move to a higher time frame chart and let the lower time frame confirm what your higher time frame is telling you. And this makes it significantly easier for you to be on side, because then you're only really taking trades in one direction instead of taking trades in multiple directions. So, if you follow some sort of higher time frame narrative and there is reason to believe it's going to trade lower or higher from these higher time frame areas, then you really increase your win rate by at least 20 to 30% just doing that, in my opinion. Yeah, his charts are very clean. But, for us, like for the people, for ourselves, when we mark our charts, it looks very cluttered to the person marking it out. Generally, all the time. Even my charts, I actually think look very cluttered. But in backtest sessions, or any kind of sessions like this, people are always asking me for my layout.
So we had, so as we went into London after this move, so we had a full expansion here for Asia, and abnormal move, going well higher than SD 4.5 here. Taking out the highs. And then as we come into London, we've got our manipulation here. So this is a Q2 manipulation. We have our change in state delivery here, plus displacement comes down. We can also do an OTE from here to the low. Just take off that magnet. And we're looking for PD arrays within the zone. So we've got that CB here to watch. And so ideally just off the zone here, plus the 0.62 retracement for an entry. And then targeting 1.5, 2.5. Normally against trend like this, I just want to target that SD 1.5. And for the people that have been studying SBS with us, we have our break swing here. So this is 1 and 2. Oops, then we have 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're looking for entries from 4 or 5 into the OTE. And then you're targeting that low of 3, which also lined up with the SD 1.5 here.
Yeah, I also want to note that if you're taking trades off the zone with your stop loss at the high or swing low, if you're targeting 1.5, your R is always 1.5. So that's a good sweet spot, I think, in my opinion. So like you're slightly above 1 R. You're not hitting 2R exactly, but that 1.5R I think has a very high statistical win rate.
Yeah, especially just starting out. So you just want to get base hits. SD 1.5. Yeah.
You want to really instill the idea in yourself that you are a winning trader, and 1.5 is so good for that. Even myself, having traded for almost 4 years, 4 years in August, so in 2 weeks I'll be trading for 4 years, I'm still a 2R trader. So 1.5 is so good. Any questions, guys? Big M, I'm so happy for you. Getting paid.
Still a 4-hour trader. Big M's been killing it lately. He's getting some great trades.
Doing so good. Yeah.
Even to the point where he's like looking for soups at SD 2.5. He's like, asked me in the chat, where's your SD 2.5 level? And then he'll get a soup from that and then just take it back the other way. Building up some good confidence.
Yeah. He's always been good at trailing his stop really fast too, so good.
Did you guys want to look at any other examples?
If your names are currently purple, just pay attention to the names that are gold. They should lead you in the right direction. Huzaifa, no, I haven't touched that model in about 2 years now. But this is the time of the year when that model performs very, very well, because this is the time of year that trends.
I'm trying to get used to just using the arrow without my crosshair. It's not working out fast enough for me.
You can do like a temporary drawing too. I don't know if that's with Alt or without it. I'm not sure. I gave it a try the other day. Okay, yeah. So if you like hold Alt while you're drawing, it's a temporary draw and it'll disappear.
Okay. Like as soon as, like when does it disappear? Once you stop holding Alt?
Yes. Try it now. Alt and draw something, like circle something. Oh, sorry. Not with the drawing tool, only the cursor. Like,
Ah, yeah.
yes, there you go. And then when you
And then
let
it
go,
fades
it
away.
disappears.
Ah,
Yes,
cool.
yes.
I got you. All right. Stuffy, look at Wednesday, London. Yeah. So this is on Wednesday here. So this was a Q3 manipulation into London. So we had a sweep of, so we had Asia low down here. We've taken that out. It's going to go crazy now with the textures. It goes away. Got liquidity along the top here. And then we want to get in. So we have our change in state of delivery here. And we look at PD arrays within the zone. So this becomes our zone. We've got our high that made the low. We do our standard deviations here. And then we're looking for PD arrays within the zone. Have our BC in here. And targeting SD 1.5. And if we're looking for bullish continuation, like we'd have the other accounts in as well, and then we would be moving stop loss to break even after that SD 1.5, which the other accounts would have been taken out down here. But very nice example and clean sweep, manipulation swing into a London Q3. We'd love to get these every day if London acted like this.
Yeah, every day. And what I loved about this too was that it rated both sides of Asia. So that just makes it so easy, right? It rate Asia low, go for Asia high, nice and easy, done.
Yeah. Session high and lows, guys. You definitely want to be marking out your previous session high and lows, and they're your main liquidity points for the next session, as well as aligned with those SD levels.
Yeah.
So Asia low here, Asia high. Can you teach some FVGs like which one to mark? I think if we just use our replay tool and go back to here, from memory we had I was watching the H4 one here. From memory we had the H4 CB. So we tapped into it here during Asia, and then we continued down. And then that SD 1.5 was around CE of that H4. So, oops, turnaround point in here. Another good reason why SD 1.5 was good there.
Yeah, and on a daily basis, if you just do what Adrian does and you mark out your previous day high and low and OTE of previous day high and low, that area of where OTE falls or your premium and discount falls within your bias, that's the best area that you should be marking out your PD arrays for a general approach to it every day. I don't know if you want to exemplify that, Adrian, or not.
Well, we can go. Shall we do in today's daily chart setup? We can step through
Oh,
that.
yeah, sure.
So same thing here. If we wanted to short yesterday's, we had that zone from Q3 New York PM zone manipulation takes out the high. We get our change in state delivery. We come back in to a PD array within the zone. BPR against trend. We're normally looking for the SD 1.5 if we wanted to short yesterday, which on ES and YM would have hit here, but we had our turnaround here with our SMT. Another one here. Oops. Stuff is 5-minute CISD after CPI was amazing as well. Which day was CPI? Was that this one? Was that Tuesday?
Yes, Tuesday.
Yeah. So same thing, we're in New York Q3. CPI into 9:30, and 9:30 is a key pivot time on the 5-minute. We have our Q3 manipulation, NYAM. Have our change in state of delivery here. Look for arrays within that. I keep doing Control Z to get rid of the markings, but they just fade away. Okay, we're looking for PD arrays within the zone. You can also do a SBS on this one as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're taking shorts. OTE we do as well. So from the high here. Let's get that lining up properly. And then we're looking for TPs 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. So shorts off the zone. If we put our 4-hour lines on here, so this was our 4-hour candle. So our 10 o'clock candle will open high with our SBS as well, into the zone, into the SIBI. And then we're looking at catching the expansion of the 4-hour down to each level. On individual accounts, and that way those accounts can get their full TPs along the way. .5, 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5 if held later into the PM.
Really deep retracements.
Yeah. But this move, like from entry straight down to 1.5, you're like, one account's TP, second account's TP. SL to B, you don't care about the following T after that. Go out for a run, come back in the PM. Everything's TP.
If I can answer for you, Adrian, he trails his stops at 1.5 SD. So when that first account TPs, all the other accounts go to break even.
So stop loss goes from here. Except for yesterday, Jess, because I thought Asia was going to get sweat. Yeah.
Literally, except yesterday. I know. I was like, well, it's his model. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. And I mean, it's worth the peace of mind when you go out for a run. Otherwise, you're just gonna always be checking the charts.
Yeah. The anxiety continues. Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it to have the peace of mind, 100%. Take notes, guys.
SL in points are same, so you take same lot size. Yeah. So the size on each account is the same, correct? And that way too, you kind of like you spread your risk across all accounts.
Yeah.
Rather than having one account with extended risk. So let's say we wanted to risk $400, we can then do $100 per account. This was another one here that I'd taken, but not as obvious with the model. So this was where we had that swing failure pattern, and I think that come down to SD. The SD2. Sorry, from the low that made the high. It was SD 2.5. This is another trade I took on that day coming into this, and then switched over to here. This was a Q1 manipulation for London. The manipulation into the manipulation. Another good example of a swing failure pattern too. So opens high, takes out the high, closes back below these order blocks. All right, shall we get into our daily chart setup? On for time.
How are you guys holding up?
Everyone good? We getting along? Long in the tooth. So currently we just had a PM high sweep here. And we can watch this. So plausible zone setup here now for Asia. Nice to have everyone in here and enjoying all the questions. So we can currently have a zone drawn up here for Asia at the moment for a Q2 manipulation. And against trend, we're looking at that SD 1.5 area. I'll just get our new chart and we'll run through our daily setup. And then we'll be starting to run out of time, I think. Clean chart. So when we start the day, we start off with PDL. And we draw this right over to end of day. We want PDL, PDH. Always good to save these as templates too, so you can just quickly right click on them and adjust. PDL, PDH, and we do our fixed range volume profile next. And that goes from PDL to PDH. And we mark out our fixed range volume profile point of control. We want our previous session levels. So PDH was also NYPM high. Have NYPM low. which has already been swept. So normally prefer when Asia opens to have New York PM low down here, which then adds confluence for a short to push down for them price to continue longer. We do our OTE, so we want our daily range optimal trade entry zone, which shows us where our discount area is. And when we're in bullish expansion, we're adding 0.25 as well, as we saw with yesterday's price action. That becomes a point of interest for a quick reversal into expansion. We then grab our current zones. So we had this one down here from Asia. The high one at the time was this one here. Which is irrelevant now because we've been swept. So we now move that to our current Asia high. And this is our current zone. So we can mark this out now as an Asia to our Q2. Then going to put on our 4-hour levels. This just helps watch and pay attention for the 4-hour open low high close or open high low close. Oops. And we then want to look at PD arrays around that OT level, 0.5 and 0.25. So we have, here's our New York Q3. It's not drawing for me. Oops. Q3, this is our Q3 manipulation zone. So we're going to map that out. That also aligns with our OTE. We want PD arrays within that zone. We have our BISI in here, aligning with 705. Are around the 0.25 level, so we have this downswing here that caused the next breakout. You can see that's our current support at the moment. And price holding that 50% level. Oops. And we're drawing on our current standard deviation, which we have from here. So ideally, if price cannot close above 50% of this swing, we can assume price will then continue down. And then we're looking for that SD 1.5. Normally, as we discussed with yesterday's price action, that 1 to 1.5 into continuation happens a lot more than price continuing to these other ones. However, we'll still map them out and follow as price goes. So this is a good thing to do every day, guys, alongside your own
Yeah.
trading. So every day, it's a good idea to map out your charts the same. Have your zones, your
including
point
that
of interest.
25%. If you just mark out quarters even of the day, if you don't necessarily follow the OTE logic, if you just mark out quarters of your range, you'll even see a narrative form out of that. But higher time frame PD arrays, session highs and lows, along with OTE. This is very solid framework every day.
Just catch up on the chat. PDL, PDH take from midnight to midnight? No. So the main daily times from open to close. Interesting spot where that POC is, yeah. And coming into Friday as well, Cozy. If we just stay above there and then just continue and not even come down here. You know, whereas if we close below and then we come back up and retest that like yesterday, Cozy, then we have more anticipation for price to reject and come back. But now we're floating above it. It's quite bullish. Last Thursday, Asia, we had some tweets that dropped NQ about 200 points. It's been the year for that. Some Trump tweets.
Man, nothing's gonna beat April's price action though. I really miss the VIX above 50. 100-point stop outs, gotta love it.
Yeah. If you guys are looking for a list for the daily setup, that's under my mentorship as well. And there was a YouTube video we did with Jess too that went over the chart setup. And from memory, I believe Jess we went through and showed a sort of an automatic setup as well. We did a lot of the stuff.
I'll share the video now. 1 hour standard deviations.
So ideally on, sorry, you go.
Sorry. Do you know what the video is called on your channel for the daily setup?
I'll take a quick look.
I think I have it linked on the videos that I'm doing for the back test, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay, sweet. Thanks.
Yeah, but definitely recommend everyone watches that 1 hour standard deviation homework.
Yes.
And you guys do that every week, every weekend. And as the week is forming, it will help a lot of people. So normally for bullish continuation, days like this, I actually like price to come back like this, building up as much inner range liquidity as possible along here, and then we get long either in like a London Q3 down here somewhere, or New York New York AM Q3, and we're targeting PDH. So we take out liquidity that gets built here, we build liquidity down, and then we take that. back the other way. Any other questions, guys? I'll look at ending the stream there if everyone's happy.
Jose, I hope that helped you set up for the figure out how to do the higher time frame PD arrays. EQ of previous day is landing right at TGIF 30. Isn't that interesting?
Interesting. Just joined. How high do you expect price to go? It's great. Appreciate it. No worries, guys. I can share the chart layout. Yeah. I'll pop that in the chat after. How high price can go. So we've got our manipulation swing down here that we had measured. I'm watching these levels here. Oops. So next level is 2.5, which we're looking at 385. So it should be interesting to see how high it gets during London or New York. And then we can look at a TGIF play later once we've got that high. This is being recorded as well, so you can go back through and check it over as well for that high time frame stuff that we went over. Niabi, if I can pronounce that right.
This is the 5-minute quarters that he's using. JD uses the. These are the 90-minute quarters that he's using. JD uses the microcycles, where every cycle is 90 minutes itself. So this indicator is by Josh Yu.
And then you just got to set it to day setup to get it aligned with these ones. Yeah, so I only work off the high time frame, 90-minute cycles. I don't use the 1-minute micro cycles.
Oh, do you use your Maya 90? I saw you post it recently.
Yeah, yep. He added a few more settings that we can change. Like we can change the TMSO colors and stuff, and it's just preset to those day settings, so you don't have to change the setting.
See, okay, got you.
Yep.
Does he also have it set? Maybe I'll take a look at it myself. Never mind.
I'll just quickly find the link.
Yeah.
I had a few people ask over the last couple of days.
I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna hassle him for some more changes, maybe. He's always bombarding me with questions. He's not here today. I wish he was.
Hasn't been on in the streams much lately. He must be busy.
Oh, that's true. So I'm gonna bombard him with requests for the indicator.
It's good to have questions go back at him, I think.
Yeah. Have you done, Jose, if I answered that earlier, I haven't touched that model in 2 years, but that model is good for this time of year when price action is trending. But no, I'm not I'm not there. We were intending on doing a part 2, but honestly, at some point in your career, you just get tired of backtesting new things and you just want to stick to your main thing. Or at least I found that in my career. So I love the 5-minute chart. I love the 5-minute models that we trade, the way we trade them at session liquidity, pretty much. And that's it. I like to keep it simple, make my money, and leave.
Once you find something that just keeps working consistently,
Yeah.
you just want to work on that one thing and see if there's any other Confluence things or additions you can add with the back testing rather than going through 100 different strategies.
Yeah, Captain and I keep in touch, and we kind of made a pact with one another that we were done backtesting new models and we were ready to compound our results from the current models that we had. He actually told me, I think months ago, more than 6 months ago, that he was done backtesting. I told him I'll see it when I believe it, because I was done backtesting like a year ago. So I only backtest with you guys so that you guys can understand the models that the mods are trading here. But I myself, for what I trade, I've been trading the same model for like 2 years now.
All right, guys. Well, we might close the stream there.
Cool. Thanks, Adrian.
I think it's been
a pleasure.
Good session. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and the questions. Hopefully we can get a bit of a pullback here and build up some of that inner range liquidity to then target for longs later. As ideally, we'll have a Friday high of the week, so we can expect this high to get taken from Asia at some stage today.
Sweet. Have a good night, guys. Bye.